All right, welcome to Tribulation 515, 2011. Today is the 314th day of my personal testimony to the tribulation that I'm experiencing and that the world is experiencing. And some of you out there aren't experiencing anything because you know, maybe you just got your head in the sand. Hard to say. But today, it's Friday, 3/23/2012. The spring equinox came and went, 3/22. We had a huge earthquake alert for that day, and guess what? No huge earthquake. One of the people that I subscribe to and kind of watch her videos is Nania. She usually has some really interesting stuff. She put out a video on why an axis shift didn't happen yesterday. And she was saying it's because Planet X is speeding up, and therefore the time between the intervals, and the intervals is this 188-day cycle for these earthquakes. So she was saying because Planet X would speed up, it would make the interval longer. Well, whether Planet X or Nibiru exists or not, that could be debated, and I don't, maybe that's one big conspiracy because they're covering it up. I'm going to say I haven't ruled it out, but I haven't ruled it in either, but I have an open mind. But that being said, I think if Planet X was speeding up, the time between the intervals would actually shrink. So that being said, I think the cycle actually hit. Because basically we've had some pretty big earthquakes in the last 3 or 4 days. On 2/20 and 2/21, there were 3 6+ earthquakes. On 6/20 was a 7.4 down in Mexico City, and just today there's a 5.6 in Australia. So I believe the 188-day cycle continues. Now, as far as an axis shift, of course, a year ago and a year before that, the claim was the Earth tilted, a couple of degrees. Whether there's going to be an axis shift or not, I don't know about that. I do think, over on Operation End Times, I'm going to dig a little deeper into this Venus conspiracy. But, a pole shift is one of those things that people throw into the, quote, end time discussion. And, one way or another, 2012, whether you want to believe it or not, there's a lot of things happening, especially in the solar system with astral alignments that all fulfill prophecy and whatnot of pretty much every culture around the planet, but specifically, the Hopi Indians and the Aztecs and, all those Indians over in South America and Central America and even in the North American Indians. They all have star prophecies about the end times, which appear to be happening in 2012. And it's all tied into, Venus, the Pleiades, the pyramids of Giza, the pyramids over in Mexico. But I'll go deeper into that over at Operation End Times, because we got some amazing dates and alignments and things that are supposed to happen. Everybody knows that December 21st, 2012 date. And then there's this summer window of dates, from June through July with Venus transiting the sun on the 6th. And then some other amazing dates in July. So, could be some big stuff happening in 2012. But that's kind of what 3/22 and the equinox was all about. And some people were thinking maybe there was going to be a pole shift, but that did not happen yesterday. But despite all that, the world continues to spiral down into chaos. And, that kind of brings me to my point for the day, was that one of my viewers, kind of said, hey man, how's it feel to be a paranoid, delusional nutcase living in your mother's basement? And, I took exception to that. So I just want to, explain myself. One, the place that I live in doesn't have a basement. Out here in California, it's an exception if you have a basement. So there's no basement to live in. If I was living under the house, I'd be living in the crawl space. Okay, so, to the person that made that comment, already you're showing your intelligence is starting to go. And just so you know, I don't make a point to make fun of my viewers, because I love the interaction. I love comments, whether you're sending me video comments or text comments or whatever. I live for us engaging in banter and intelligent conversation, especially if we're talking about the tribulation. So, the other thing that I took exception to, and just say, I live on the second floor of this condo, so I don't live in the basement, but I do live at my mother's place. So, the other thing, you said I was a paranoid, delusional nutcase, and you know what? I know that that's out there, that a lot of people, if you're talking about tribulation or the end times, they're looking at you like you're a paranoid, delusional nutcase. But what I'm going to tell you is I take exception to that, because the reason why you're saying that is because you've built your little frame, man, of what you think life is. The white picket fence, the house, the kids, the security, the job, the retirement fund, the health insurance. And anybody that lives outside that frame, they're a paranoid, delusional nutcase. I understand that, But what I'm going to tell you is, I'm living outside that frame. I've been clear about that. So I've got a new frame, okay? So from my perspective, you're not in this frame. You're outside my frame. So I'm looking over at you like you're the paranoid, delusional person, even though I'm not going to call you a nutcase. I'm just going to call you paranoid and delusional, and I'll explain myself, okay? But you know what? I will accept the nutcase part. My whole life I've had a phrase, dare to be stupid. And, my mind is very open to accepting new information and not being locked in with blinders on, hedged in, hard-headed, and not accepting the truth that lays in front of me. So in this amazing time we're living in, I got an open mind, and I am looking and I am watching. There are plenty of watchers out there. Y'all know who you are. Keep on watching, keep on seeking. And once again, this Venus conspiracy, it's going to be big. But, the delusional part, you know what? I'm not delusional. I'm looking over at you living in your little frame, and I'm like, man, that's the delusion. The people that are still in that old frame of reference because the new age is upon us and that old frame ain't going to fit no more. Things like a retirement fund and health care and owning a home and, just all this crazy stuff, buying gold, all that stuff, that's delusional, man. You need to figure out what's real. And you know what? I'm not paranoid either. I'm not getting up every day thinking, ooh, there's people out to get me. But at the same time, I recognize there's sinister forces out there. But that's not being paranoid. That's being realistic. Now, I'm going to tell you, you know who's paranoid? You. Living in your frame, man, in that white picket fence, that existence that you think you're all safe and hedged in, like, this is how life is supposed to be, and if you're not here, you're delusional. No, you're delusional and you're paranoid, because you're scared as hell to go outside of your frame of existence, man. And you know what? You've hedged yourself in. You're so afraid, so paranoid of reality and the actual truth that is right in front of your face as far as what's happening right now in our lifetimes, 2012, that you're paranoid about it, man. And guess what? Even within your frame, look at everything about your life, man. It's all about, I need life insurance. I need a retirement fund. I need health care. If it's all about security. I can't take a chance. I can't step outside and experience life unless I have government regulation or something out there just making everything safe for me and my own little paradise, and it doesn't matter if the rest of the world, people are starving and dying. I'm okay because I'm living inside my little window. So you know what? You're the one that's paranoid and delusional. And I didn't mean to rant and rave, man, but you know what? I'm a nutcase, but I'm not paranoid or delusional. All right. That being said, it's a beautiful day here in San Jose. We still got more rain coming in. I'm glad there was no huge earthquake yesterday on 3/22. Pole shift? Hey, that may still be coming. The Venus conspiracy, man. I'll be getting deeper into it over on Operation End Times. But you know what? We still got the Middle East. We got all sorts of crazy stuff. We got the election. But you know what? Think positive. Think outside the box, man. But, you know, help people. Spread goodness. There's enough negativity that's coming, man.